नमः सर्वेभ्यः। अद्य सद्रत्नमालायाः नवमं सत्रम्। प्रार्थनया प्रारम्भः। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। असाध्यः साधकः स्वामिन्न साध्यं तव किं वद। रामदूतकृपासिन्धो मत्कार्यं साधय प्रभो। सद्रत्नमालायाः पारायणेन प्रारम्भं कुर्मः। अथ द्वितीयं परिभाषा प्रकरणं कालमानं गुर्वक्षरं विघटिका घटिका दिनञ्च पूर्वाणि षष्टिगुणितानि निजोत्तराणि 30 गुणं दिवसमत्र च माससंज्ञं मासो दिवाकरगुणः खलु पावनाब्धः। पर्ये तजस्रं भगणो यत्प्राणैः खखषड्गणैः चक्रलिप्ताश्च तत्संख्या षट्प्राणा भविनाडिका। कलादिपरिभाषा तत्परा षष्टिगुणा हि तत्परा प्रतत्परा षष्टिगुणा हि तत्परा विलिप्तिका दैवमसौ तथा कला दैवं लवस्तत्त्रिदशाहतिर्भवेत् राशिस्स मार्ताण्डगुणो भमण्डलम् 27 चक्रं राशिः सांग्र्यर्क्षयुग्मकः राशौ नक्षत्रदिङ्नाड्यः 130 पंच च। तिथिस्वरूपं चन्द्रार्कान्तरचक्रे तिथयस्त्रिंशद् यतस्ततो राशिः सार्धतिथिद्वययुक्तस्तत्र हि नाड्यः 150। एतावत् पठितवन्तः वयम्। अग्रे अद्य पठामः। द्वितीयं प्रकरणं परिभाषाप्रकरणम्। एते विषयाः सन्ति इति उक्तवान्। अद्य परिभाषाप्रकरणस्य समापनं प्रायः कुर्मः। तिथिस्वरूपं पर्यन्तं गतसत्रे पठितवन्तः। तत्र तिथयः 15 इति ज्ञातम्। अत्र एवं शुक्लपक्षे 15 तिथयः, कृष्णपक्षे 15 तिथयः इति। अस्तु, तर्हि अग्रे ग्रहाः नक्षत्राणि च इति श्लोकः। ग्रहाः सूर्येन्दुभौमज्ञ गुर्वच्चार्क्यहीर्येतवः। ग्रहाः सूर्येन्दुभौमज्ञ गुर्वच्चार्क्यहिकेतवः मेषादयो राशयः स्युरश्विन्याद्याश्च तारकाः। मेषादयो राशयः स्युरश्विन्याद्याश्च तारकाः। पदच्छेदः। ग्रहाः सूर्य इन्दुभौमज्ञ गुरु अच्छ आर्कि अहिकेतवः मेषादयः राशयः स्युः अश्विन्याद्याः च तारकाः। अत्र ग्रहाः के, नक्षत्राणि कानि इति उच्यते। पदपरिचयः। भौमः इति मङ्गलग्रहस्य अन्यत् नाम। ज्ञः इत्युक्ते बुधग्रहः। अच्छः इत्युक्ते शुक्रग्रहः। आर्किः इत्युक्ते अर्कपुत्रः आर्किः, अर्कपुत्रः इति सूर्यपुत्रः शनिग्रहः, अहिः इति चेत् सर्पः राहुग्रहं निर्दिशति। अत्र नवग्रहाः के इति अत्र पट्टिका अस्ति। सूर्यः, इन्दुः, इन्दुः नाम चन्द्रः, भौमः नाम मङ्गलः, ञः बुधः, गुरुः, अच्छः नाम शुक्रः, आर्किः नाम शनिः, अहिः नाम राहुः, केतुः इति नवग्रहाः। तारकानां नामानि, तारकाः नाम नक्षत्राणि: अश्विनी, भरणी, कृत्तिका, रोहिणी, मृगशिरः, मृगशिरस् इति सकारान्तं पदं, मृगशिरः, आर्द्रा, पुनर्वसुः, पुष्यः अथवा तिष्यः, मघा, मघा इति स्त्रीलिङ्गशब्दः, आकारान्त स्त्रीलिङ्गशब्दः, पूर्वफल्गुनी, उत्तरफल्गुनी, हस्तः अथवा हस्ता, चित्रा, स्वातिः अथवा स्वाति, विशाखा, अनुराधा अथवा अनुराधा, मूलं, पूर्वाषाढ़ा, उत्तराषाढ़ा, श्रवणः अथवा श्रवणा, धनिष्ठा अथवा श्रविष्ठा, शतभिषक्, पूर्वाभाद्रा, पूर्वप्रोष्ठपदा इत्यपि उच्यते, उत्तराभाद्रा, उत्तरप्रोष्ठपदा इत्यपि उच्यते। अत्र आश्लेषा इति, आश्लेषा, ज्येष्ठा, रेवती इति अन्ते अस्ति। अतः एतानि नामानि कण्ठस्थीकरणीयानि इति अत्र वयं, मम गुरुः वदति, अन्य नक्षत्राणां नामानि वयं जानीमः, एतानि नक्षत्राणि वयं कण्ठस्थीकुर्मः इति। अन्यनक्षत्राणि इत्युक्ते अत्र फिल्म् स्टार्स् इति सर्वं वयं सर्वं जानीमः, प्रायः 30 प्रायः जानीमः, परन्तु अत्र 27 नक्षत्राणां नामानि ज्ञातुं कः क्लेशः इति पृच्छति सः। अस्तु, अन्यदस्ति, एतानि पञ्चाङ्गश्रवणं, पञ्चाङ्गपठनमेव पुण्यकर्म अस्ति, अतः प्रतिदिनं वयं पञ्चाङ्गं शृण्मः अथवा पठामः इति अस्ति अस्माकं ज्येष्ठानां कार्यः। अस्तु, राशयः, मेषः, वृषभः, मिथुनः, कर्कः, सिंहः, कन्या, तुला, वृश्चिकः, धनुः, मकरः, कुम्भः, मीनः इति 12 राशयः। इदानीं पञ्चाङ्गपरिभाषा। कर्कः, कर्काटकः द्वयमपि समानः, द्वयं, कर्कः, कर्काटकः इति। पञ्चाङ्गपरिभाषा: वासरा, सूर्यवासराद्याः स्थितयः प्रतिपन्मुखाः, करणं कृमिसिंहाद्यं योगा विष्कम्भापूर्वकाः, 34 कल्पा मान्दिनाड्योर्कवासरात् पञ्चमोदिता रात्रावेता सूक्ष्मा निरक्षभे। पञ्चाङ्गपरिभाषायाः अत्र पदच्छेदः: वासराः सूर्यवासराद्याः तिथयः प्रतिपद्मुखाः, करणं कृमिसिंहाद्यं योगाः विष्कम्भापूर्वकाः, 34 कल्पाः मान्दिनाड्यः अर्कवासरात् पञ्चमोदिताः रात्रौ एताः सूक्ष्माः निरक्षभे। 8मः श्लोकः। अस्तु, वासराः 7 भवन्तः जानन्ति एव। सूर्यवासरः, चन्द्रवासरः, कुजवासरः, बुधवासरः, गुरुवासरः, शुक्रवासरः, शनिवासरः। अत्र रविवासरस्य भानुवासरः इति उच्यते, अर्कवासरः इति उच्यते, चन्द्रवासरः सोमवासरः इति उच्यते, कुजवासरस्य मङ्गलवासरः इति उच्यते। भिन्नभिन्ननामानि तावदेव तिथयः पञ्चदश तिथयः प्रतिपद् इति प्रथमा इति उच्यते प्रतिपद् इत्यपि उच्यते प्रतिपद् द्वितीया तृतीया चतुर्थी पञ्चमी षष्ठी सप्तमी अष्टमी नवमी दशमी एकादशी द्वादशी त्रयोदशी चतुर्दशी पूर्णमास्या अमावास्या इति पञ्चदश तिथयः पूर्वमपि ज्ञातवन्तः। अस्तु अत्र किमर्थं सप्तदिनानि दिनानि सप्त तत् कथं तस्य निर्णयं क्रियते प्रथमं किमर्थं सूर्यचन्द्र अनन्तरम् एतत् एषः क्रमः कथम् अस्ति इति आम् अस्तु क्वेश्चन् इन् प्रीवियस् स्लैड् इट् सेस् सूर्यवासराद्याः अत्र सूर्यवासरः इत्येव सूर्यवासर आद्यः इति आद्याः नाम सूर्यवासरादि अत्र आदिः एक्सेट्रा इति अर्थः सूर्यवासरः अस्तु सूर्यवाराः अस्तु अत्र गुरुवारः सूर्यवारः चन्द्रवारः इत्यपि समीचीनं वासरः वारः समानार्थकाः। अस्तु किमर्थं दिनानि सप्त अत्र क्रमः किमर्थं तथा अस्ति इति तत्र कश्चन विषयः अस्ति। भमण्डले ज्योतिषाणाम् एकचक्रभ्रमणकालं मानसः क्रमः इत्युक्ते so all the if you go out to the sky, every jyotihi whichever is like the bright celestial bodies, they are all like, periodic. Their motion is periodic, so they come back to the same point after a certain time. So if we arrange them in slowest to the fastest, so basically शनैः चरति इति शनैश्चरः इति अस्ति, शनीश्वरः इति नास्ति, शनैश्चरः इति। अत्र शनिग्रहः एव बहु मन्दं चलति, so it takes the longest to come back to the same place. So we start with Shanihi, and then Guruhu is the next slowest, and Chandraha is the fastest. So यदि तथा क्रमशः वयं कुर्मः, शनिः गुरुः मङ्गलः सूर्यः शुक्रः बुधः चन्द्रः इति एकः क्रमः अस्ति। यदि एकं दिनं चतुर्विंशधा विभज्य एकैकस्यापि भागस्य एकं ज्योतिः युज्यते. So we assign, let's say we divide a day in 24 hours, and then for each hour we assign one of these grahas. Like we can assume that it's a presiding deity or something. So then if we start with Surya, we can start with any of these, but let's say we start with Surya. So Surya, Shukrah, Buddha, Chandraha, Shanihi, Guruhu, Mangalaha, Surya. So we come like this. And then we end, at 24 hours we'll end at Buddha. It will end here. Then the next one will be Chandraha. So now we say that, okay, the day starts in 24 hours. The first hour of the day, whichever is the presiding deity, that will be the presiding deity for the entire day. If we take that, we'll get Suryavaraha, Chandravaraha, Mangalavaraha, Budhavaraha, Guruvaraha, Shukravaraha, Shanivaraha, iti tatha agachati. So that is how we get this order of Surya, this order which we saw here. Dinasya prathamasya bhagasya jyotihi vasarasya nama api. So this is the way it is thought about how we got this order of Suryavasaraha, Chandravasaraha iti. Kimartam dinani sapta ityukte atra we are seeing seven bright celestial bodies in the sky, in the night sky or the sky actually. Basically, sun we cannot see. When we see the sun, we don't see the other celestial bodies, but because of the brightness. But these are the main bright celestial bodies we are seeing in the sky. there is a question. I assume these days are set to Indian time. No, I don't know what is Indian time. So we don't have, everything is like, I didn't talk about any time here. So these days set to Indian time means I'm saying a day is separated into 24 hours. So you start any point and end at any point. Generally we start at Suryodaya. अस्तु दिनस्य प्रथमस्य भागस्य ज्योतिः वासरस्य नाम. सो बेसिकली हियर प्रथमस्य भाग चतुर्विंशति भागाः सन्ति. तथा अत्र प्रथमस्य भागस्य सूर्यः इति अस्ति. तस्यैव नाम दत्तं वासरस्य नाम. अत्र प्रथमं दिनं एतदस्ति. प्रथमस्य भागस्य नाम सूर्यः इति. अतः सूर्यवासरः. अत्र प्रथमस्य भागस्य नाम चन्द्रः इति. चन्द्रवासरः इति उच्यते. तावदेव. Okay, so I still didn't get this question. We can discuss at the end maybe. Assume these days are set to Indian time. I didn't talk about any time yet. Okay. अत्र योगः इति पूर्वं योगाः अपि सन्ति, कारणम् इति अस्ति. अतः तस्य विषये किञ्चित्. योगः सप्तविंशतिः योगाः सन्ति. ते के इति चेत् विष्कम्भः, प्रीतिः, आयुष्मान्, सौभाग्यः, शोभनः, अतिगण्डः, सुकर्मा, धृतिः, शूलः, गण्डः, वृद्धिः, ध्रुवः, व्याघातः, हर्षणः, व्रजः, सिद्धिः, व्यतीपातः, वरीयान्, परिगः, शिवः, सिद्धः, साध्यः, शुभः, शुभ्रः, ब्रह्मा, महेन्द्रः, वैधृतिः इति. योगः नाम किं? सूर्यस्फुटं योगस्य चन्द्रस्फुटं योगः. अत्र योगः क्रियते खलु. सूर्यस्फुटं, स्फुटं नाम longitude, the position of the Surya and the position of the Chandra in terms of degrees, whatever you call. You can calculate degrees. So tasya yogaha eva yogaha iti. So we'll do a calculation later about yogaha. But yogaha, the name became because there is a yogaha here. There is an addition here. Okay, so there are 27 of these. यदि पञ्चाङ्गं पश्यामः, अमृतयोगः, मरणयोगः इति सर्वम् अस्ति, तद् भिन्नम् अस्ति. तद् योगः नास्ति. अत्र मरणम् अमृतम् इति किमपि नास्ति खलु. अतः तद् भिन्नम्, एतद् भिन्नम् अस्ति. अस्तु. अपि च 11 करणानि सन्ति. अत्र सद्रत्नमालायां कृम्यादयः, कृमिसिंहादयः इति अस्ति. अतः एकविध नाम करणम् अत्र अस्ति, अन्य नामकरणम् अत्र अस्ति. कृमिः नाम किं स्तुघ्नम् इत्यपि उच्यते. सिंहः भवः इति उच्यते. व्याघ्रः बालवः इति उच्यते. वराहः कौलवः इति उच्यते. गर्दभः तैतिलः इत्यपि उच्यते. गजः गरजः इति उच्यते. सुरभिः वणिक् इति उच्यते. वृष्टिः भद्रः इति उच्यते. शकुनिः एव चतुष्पाद्. सर्पः नागवः इति उच्यते. येषु 4 स्थिरकरणानि, 4 करणानि स्थिरकरणानि इति उच्यते. शकुनिः चतुष्पाद्, नागवः, कृमिः किंस्तुघ्नम् इति. अन्ये 7 करणानि चरकरणानि इति उच्यन्ते. चरकरणानि नाम किमर्थम् इति अग्रे वदामि. अस्तु, वाट् अस्तु. इन् सङ्कल्पः विशेष शुभयोगे शुभकरणे नेरोः दक्षिणे भागे. अस्तु. So every day we are supposed to know which yoga and which karana we are in, but we have become lazy. So we just say Shubha Yoga. Yoga is Shubha. Nowadays we also say Shubha Nakshatram. So we don't even want to go and see the Panchangam and find out what Nakshatram we have. Shubha Yoga, Shubha Nakshatra, Shubha Karana iti sarvam, Shubha Titi, Shubha Titau iti sarvam Shubham iti vadamah. Sarve Shubhani eva, Shubhaha eva santi. Parantu we are supposed to know which time coordinate we are doing and all these things. So We say Subha Yoga, Shubha Karana because we are just lazy to find out what is Karana and what the yoga is. The yoga, as I said, we have to know exactly what is the longitude of sun and what's the longitude of moon. It keeps changing, so people don't want to be exactly. You can't pinpoint because it keeps moving, right? So they don't want to pinpoint, so that's why they probably are leaving out the yoga and just saying Shubha Karana, Shubha Yoga. Shubha Karana, what is Karana basically is a question. I will answer this next slide. So for now, we should know that there are 7 Charakaranani, 4 Sthirakaranani. Karanani means what here? Karana is, I will tell, Karana is technical terms, Panchanga term. Karanam iti atra kimapi bhashayam kimapi uchyate tam nasti. Karanam nama kim iti chet atra asti. Karananam gatihi. Atra eka titihi asti chet tad karanadvayam asti. So पूर्वम् अहम् उक्तवान् तिथिः नाम it's so in 30 days basically you have 12 tithis, 15 tithis. You keep going 15 tithis for ekam paksham, ekaha pakshaha. So 50 for every paksha we have 15 tithis. So there are 30 tithis we see here. So here the Krishna paksha prathama, dvitiya, tritiya these are from. So there are 30 tithis, and the moon goes around 360 degrees. So basically, we divide the 30 in each 12 degrees. Moon, which relative to the sun, it's moving. So let's fix the sun. When we fix the sun, the moon relative to the sun moves 360 degrees also. So the tithi is how much, if you move 12 degrees relative to the sun, you call it a tithi. So one tithi has 2 karanani, 2 karanam. So basically, karane staha, karanadvayam eka titihi. In one tithi, you will see 2 karanani. So that's the karanani I've mentioned here. So tithi, karanam is what? It's half a tithi. That's all. That is the basic definition. What is a karanam here? Means it's half a tithi. That is the definition you are looking for. Okay, Karanam is a tool. It's in general Sanskritam, Karanam is a tool. That's all. But here in Panchangam, Karanam is half a tithi. Okay, so how do the tithis? So basically, as I said previously, these are Sthira Karanani. Sthira Karanani nama. If I Krishna Paksha and Shukla Paksha. So I start with Prathama, Krishna Paksha Prathama, and end with Shukla Paksha Purnima, and again it will come back to Krishna Paksha Prathama. In that, the Chaturdashi Tithi, Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi, the second part of the Chaturdashi is the Shakuni Karanam. And then Chatushpad, Nagavaha, Kimstugnaha, Kimstugnam. So these are the Tithis which are fixed for these are the Karanani which are fixed for the Tithis. After that, this starting from Atra Bhavaha, Bhalavaha, Kaulavaha, Taitilaha, Garajaha, Vanik, Bhadraha. So again, we'll start again with Bhavaha, Bhalavaha, Kaulavaha, Taitilaha, Garajaha, Vanik, Bhadraha. So these 7 are going to be in cyclic, keeping on coming. How many times they cycle? 1, Ekam, Dve, Trini, Tatvari, Pancha, Shat, Sapta, Ashta. Ashtavaram punaha saha eva tatra karana samuham punaha agachati. Anantaram punaha chaturdashi Krishna Paksha Chaturdashyam dvitiyaha bhagaha Shakunihi Chatushpad Nagavaha Kimstugnam iti bhavati. Ete karanani. Atra titihi 12 degrees of 12, I said, as the moon moves 12 degrees away from the sun, you get 1 tithi. So if it moves 6 degrees, you will get 1 karanam. Tavadeva. Yes, 6 degrees is 1 karanam, correct. Yes. there was a question, what is, if the moon moves 6 degrees away from the sun, you call it one karanam. So that is a technical term. Karanam, karanam, karta, iti sarvam asti, Vishnu Sahasranamani. Atra karanam ityukte sah Vishnu eva karanam asmakam kimapi kurmah iti. Parantu atra Panchanga paribhashayam karanam nama ardhatitihi. अस्तु तर्हि कः योगः अत्र भचक्रे सूर्यस्य गतिः प्रायः एकस्मिन् अस्मिन् let's freeze the sun and the moon. If we say, let's say it is at 320 degrees. So basically, okay, so one thing is when we in all subtle motions we can always calculate it by degrees. So basically how much it has moved with respect to center. So basically some radial motion. So 320 degrees, let's assume that. And then Bhachakre Chandrasya Gatihi 10 degrees 5 minutes iti chintayantu. Atra yogaha kaha, atra tasya yogaha 330 degrees 5 minutes. So if you convert it into minutes only, you will have this. So each degree is each of the tithis goes through, each of the yogaha goes through 800 minutes. If you divide the whole circle 360 degrees into 27, you get 800 minutes. So you divide this 800 minutes, you'll know exactly which yoga you are in. So Panchavimshaha yoga Brahma iti. Tarhi if the Surya if the Surya is here and the Chandra is here, then we are in this yoga. Okay, there is a question. Isn't the moon's movement parabolic? I don't know, parabolic with respect to what? So basically, okay, so it's not everything is not an exact circle, but we are approximating into a circle. We can still have 360 degrees of it. So this parabolic with respect to what? All these things you have to mention. So again, let's not go into. I'm not going to go into the details, and I am also not an expert in this. So I don't know what you mean by parabolic. I'm not even able to understand what this. Okay, I'll repeat the calculation. So the calculation is at any point Surya. So if you keep Earth stationary, you will see that the sun and the moon are actually moving in a circle. They are moving. They are coming back to the same point. So if you divide that circle into degrees, you'll get 360 degrees circle. So you can always say, okay, at this point the sun is at 320 degrees. So he started out at 0 degrees. And then he's coming back and he's on the way to come back to the same point. He's finished 320 degrees of rotation. Tathaiva, so moon always starts at one point and it comes back to the same point. So let's assume that whenever we are seeing right now, at this point, 320 degrees is where the sun is. 10 degrees and 5 minutes is where the moon is. You just add them up. 335. Which is actually I'm just converting it into all minutes. So each minute is each degree is 60 minutes. So 330 times 60 plus 5. If you add, you'll get 19,800. So this is the yoga. So this is the yoga we want. That's it. This yoga is in minutes. Now we want to know what is the name of the yoga. So we have 27 yoga. So of that, we know, okay, what does this correspond to? So we have to say, okay, we are dividing this 360 into 27 parts. Each part will have 800 minutes. So if you divide it by 800 minutes, you will get which part of that circle this corresponds to. It corresponds to 25th part of the circle, which we have divided into 27. So now the 25th part is Brahma. Sahayeva yoga. Oh, okay. Maybe I made a mistake here. 330 times 60 is 900. Okay. I think, yeah, correct. You're right. I think I made a mistake here. It should be 3905. Correct. 19,805. Yeah, okay. Thanks for pointing out. Okay. I will correct this error in the slide. Dhanyawadaha. Okay. Tari agre. पञ्चाङ्गपरिभाषायाः अग्रिमः. Okay, what is the unit here? Okay, so 19,805 divided by 18. We are dividing 2 minutes by minutes, so the unit is nothing. So it is just a number. Why division by 27? Because 27 yogas are there. So why are we dividing by 27? Because 27 yoga. Okay, we are dividing this just a number. So this is a number of the yoga. Okay. अत्र पञ्चाङ्ग परिभाषा त्रिंशत् चतुः. Questions, more questions. There is a question. Why do you divide by 27? I just mentioned. Why are you dividing by 27? Because I want to know. Okay, this is 19,805 is there. This is the yoga, but I want to know the name of the yoga. Which yoga are we in? So we know the position in number. Which I want to know which yoga today. I want to know Adya Idanim Kaha Yoga. At this time, what is the yoga name? There should be a name. So and that's why we are dividing by 27 to get. Sorry, we are dividing by 27 here. Sorry, here the 27 is what is the each yoga? How much time minutes do they occupy? But here we are dividing by that individual unit to get the number of the yoga, the index of the yoga, if you want to call. I don't know. I was thinking this is very simple, but maybe I'm making it very complicated here. Let's discuss this slide at the end of the class. त्रिंशत् चतुश्चतुः कल्पाः मान्दिनाड्यः अर्कवासरात् स्वपञ्चमोदिताः रात्रौ एताः सूक्ष्माः निरक्षभे. So this particular point of Mandinadihi, I don't know where he uses, but I'm also not very familiar with this, but let's just go through what he's trying to say. Kalpanikaha Mandayaha. So Mandihi Nama Kimapi Kalpanikaha Grahaha Udeti. So there is a imaginary planet which is rising up every day. So Arkavasara Darabhya Udayanti Tesham Udaya Kalamanam Nadihi Ityuchyate. So their time of rise is called Nadi. Nirakshabhe. Nirakshabhe means tatra equator. Dine tu Arkavasara Darabhya Nadyah Trimshattaha Chatushodhanena Labhyante. So you subtract 30 from every day. So you start with every day 30, subtract from 34, the number 4. So 26, 22, 18, 14, 10, 6, 2. So these are the rising times. The setting times are Ratrau, Panchama Dinat, Kramena Bhavati. So you start from the 10th day number, 10, 6, 2, 26, 22, 20, 18, 14. So these are the numbers which are the rising times and the setting times. I don't know where he's using it. So it is just some thing which is given in this, so I'm just putting it up here. Okay, so there was a question. In those days, minutes were not calculated. I'm showing you because in those days, if I show you the calculation from those days, you will not understand. My calculation I'm showing is because right now, if I'm putting 10, 4, 2, and all these things, I'm showing the calculation based on the calculation you know. So we know degrees, minutes, seconds. So I am showing the calculation based on the mathematics you know. If we have to go back to that calculation which they did. We have to be very familiar with that. For me, if I show something, I have to explain that more. So I am making it life simpler for me. Mandi is used exclusively by Kerala astrologers. Okay, I didn't know about it. Okay, degrees and minutes were available. They had different names. Okay, I am not familiar with these things. The main part of this course was to teach the mathematics part of it. I am just going through this paribhasha because the whole point of this picking up this chapter was to show you how they explained mathematical equations in shloka. So that's my only goal here. We are not going to use any of this in our homeworks or something. Maybe one question or something maybe that. That's it. Okay. इदानीं पञ्चाङ्गपरिभाषायाः नवमः श्लोकः अहनि प्राह्नपूर्वान्नमध्याह्नापराह्नकः सायाह्नश्चेति कालाः स्युः व्यक्षे षड्घटिकामिताः अत्र अहनि प्राह्न पूर्वान्न मध्याह्नाः अपराह्नकः सायाह्नः च इति कालाः स्युः व्यक्षे षड्घटिकामिताः कः अर्थः अत्र अहः पदपरिचयः अहः नाम दिनम् अहन् इति नकारान्तः शब्दः प्रथमः एकवचनम् अहः इति विशिष्टशब्दः सूर्योदयात् सूर्यास्तमनपर्यन्तं दिनं नाम किं सूर्योदयतः सूर्य अस्तमनपर्यन्तं प्राह्न पूर्वान्न मध्याह्नः प्राह्नः पूर्वाह्नः मध्याह्नः च इति प्राह्नपूर्वाह्नमध्याह्नाः यक्षः नाम वि अक्षः इक्वेटर् इति अर्थः अत्र व्यक्षः नाम अक्षः नास्ति यस्य इति व्यक्षः इक्वेटर् इति अर्थः एका घटिका अत्र ओके इन् मॉडर्न टर्मिनालजि एका घटिका इस् 24 मिनिट्स् घटिका पूर्वमपि दृष्टवन्तः so if you want to come into the modern terminology what is the value of one ghatika it's 24 minutes षड् घटिकामिताः इत्युक्ते 2 hours 24 minutes. Okay, if somebody is raising their hands, there I will take this question at the end of the class. So if you see this, ekam dinam suryodayat suryaastamaपर्यन्तं panchadha vibhajyate. So if you divide the whole day from suryodaya to suryastamanam, if you divide it into 5 parts, you will get प्राह्नः पूर्वाह्नः मध्याह्नः पराह्नः सायाह्नः इति. So these are the different terminologies used for this 5 and each of them is 2 hours 24 minutes if you assume a 12-hour day. Okay? In equator it's a 12-hour day, so if you divide this whole thing you will get एकस्य भागस्य कालावधिः कालावधिः इति भवति कालावधिः एषः. So this is the so nowadays also there are in Veda kalpaha, so there are atra annikaha iti. So nitya karma which is mentioned for each of many of these times. So basically there is a nitya karma for every many of these times. So madhyannah madhyannikam iti asti tatsarvam atah etad upayujya kada kartavyam कर्म कदा कर्तव्यम् इति तत्र निर्णयः एतेन भवति. So the Vedas prescribe a lot of karma, so these are the things we have to do it at the prescribed times. So that's why we have all these divisions. अस्तु दैर्घ्यमानं योजनाष्टसहस्रांशो दण्डस्तच्चरणकरः तज्जिनांशोऽङ्गुलं तस्य षष्ट्यंशो व्यङ्गुलं स्मृतम्. So these are the kind of things which I wanted to stress here. दीर्घमानं दैर्घ्यमानं इत्युक्ते अत्र measure of length, linear measurements, length. So he's giving a lot of things here, basically like this kind of equations he's explaining. So how to explain these kind of equations, fractions and all these things is given here. So let's yojanashta sahasramshah dandah tat charanah karah tad jinamshah angulam tasya shashtyamshah vyangulam smritam. पदपरिचयः योजनाष्टसहस्रांशः योजनायाः अत्र टैप् अस्ति योजनायाः अष्टसहस्रांशः इत्युक्ते अत्र अष्टसहस्रांशः पूर्वमपि उक्तं मया अत्र फ्राक्षन्स् हौ डु वि दिस् रेप्रेसेण्ट् अष्टसहस्रांशः नाम 180,000 तच्चरणः तस्य चरणः नाम पादः एकः पादः तज्जिनांशः तस्य जिनांशः अत्र भूतसंख्याप्रयोगः 124 षष्ट्यंशः इत्युक्ते 160th. तर्हि अत्र श्लोकार्थः कः अत्र 1/8,000 of a yojana is one dandah, 1/4 of a danda is one karah, hastah इत्यपि उच्यते, 1/24 of karah एक चतुर्विंशत्यंशः एक करः एकम् अङ्गुलं तत्र षष्ट्यंश अङ्गुलम् इति एकं व्यङ्गुलम् इति उच्यते. So the same thing is, you can, if you want to convert into normal numbers, you can just do this 60 vyangulani, 60 vyangulani ekam angulam, चतुर्विंशतिः अङ्गुलानि एकः करः, चत्वारः कराः एकः दण्डः, 8,000 दण्डाः एका योजना इति तदपि वक्तुं शक्नुमः. परन्तु एषः तथा न करोति, अंशं स्वीकृत्य करोति, फ्राक्षन्स्. अत्र यवोदरैः अङ्गुलम् अष्टसङ्ख्यैः इति भास्कराचार्यः. So Bhaskaracharya gives also the same thing. So Yavodaraihi Angulam. So basically if you take Yavaha Nama, it's a grain. So you can think it's a barley grain or something. So you can, if you put all of them together next to each other with their latitudes together. So for example, you just don't make it like this. You make it like this. So the Yavaha, if you put all of them together, 8 of them, it will be one angulam. So basically, an angulam is this the size of a finger. This size is one angulam. So based on that, you have all this. So chaturvimshati angulani ekah karah. So one karah hastaha nama chaturvimshati angula mitam. So if you put all this 24 of this all one next to each other, you will get one karaha. Tada karaha dandaha and the yojana. Yojana is around 7.5 miles. It's all rough calculations. These numbers, these measurements change according to regions in geographical regions in India. So now these are not used. Now we have other very standard systems. Okay, they use a standard hand, standard finger. No, nothing was standardized. It is all simple, any person. So if they just use, even today, if you go in India, they use standard, like they measure the flowers and all, like using their own hand, right? You can't just say, okay, you are not using a standard hand and all. So everything is like, the Mapanam was all very customized and personalized, but they lived with it. Okay. Kramat chaturgunam manam kudubaha prastha adakaha drono vahaha tariketi khariketi ghanahastamitāvadihi ghanahastamitāvadihi dhanyadimanam nama measurements of dhanya you measure with volumes, right? Kramat chaturgunam kudubaha prasthaha adakaha dronaha vahaha kharika iti ghanahastamitāvadihi. So this is the kind of things he's talking about. Atra kramat chaturgunam atra chaturgunam kimapi prathamasya dvitiyah chaturgunam bhavati. Atra prathamasya chaturgunam dvitiyah bhavati. Astu kudubaha prasthaha ekah prastha chatvarah kudubaha ekah prasthaha chatvarah prasthaha ekah adakah chatvarah adakah ekah dronah chatvarah dronah ekah vahaha chatvarah vahaha ekah karika iti. Atra karika iti ekah hastah. Purvam aham uktvan atra karaha iti hastah tasya ghanaha asti. So this linear measurement, the cube of that linear measurement is the karika. So just for your information, how much, if you want to imagine how much it is. But these are the measurements of volume. So one thing is Sadratnamala, Shankaravarma himself never uses all these things in his later chapters. So he's just documenting everything which was there in the previous mathematics texts. So these are just there, and I also want to just show you what is there in the text. So I understand there is a corresponding volume measurement for Tamil Nari. Yeah, so Tamil also has a lot of these corresponding measures. Astu Gurutvamanam Tula Shatamshaha Alametadangrihi Karshosya Masho Vanipala Bhagaha Gunjasya Panchashaka Etadardham Yavohi Gunjat Tritayam tu Vallaha Padachyedaha Tula Shatamshaha Palam Etadangrihi Karshaha Asya Etadangrihi Karshaha Asya Mashaha Avanipala Bhagaha Gunja Asya Panchamshakaha Etad Ardham Yavaha hi Gunjat Tritayam tu Vallaha. Atra Angrihi Nama Padam Avanipalaha Itkte Nipala Nrupaha Avani Nama Bhumihi Palaha Nrupaha Bhuta Sankhya Prayogaha Shodasha iti Panchamshakaha iti Panchamshaha Tritayam Nama Trayam Tritiyam Nasti Atra Tritayam Tritayam Itkte Trayam iti Artha. अत्र गुरुत्वमानस्य एषः एव उच्यते तत्र शतांशः तुला एकं फलम् एकः पादफलम् इति एकः कर्षः षोडशांशः कर्षः एकः माषः पञ्चांशः माषः एकः गुञ्जा अर्धा गुञ्जा एकः व्यवः एकः यवः गुञ्जात्रयं तु एकः वल्लः. अत्र पुनः एवम् इति वक्तुं शक्नुमः. एकः वल्लः त्रयांशः गुञ्जा यवौ द्वौ यवौ एका गुञ्जा पञ्चगुञ्जाः एकः माषः षोडशमाषः एकः कर्षः चत्वारः कर्षाः एकं फलं शतं फलानि एका तुला इति. गुरुत्वमानं नाम measurements of weight. So these are all which was followed last in the olden days, but now it's all not in vogue. I think probably some places when they have colloquial conversation, they probably have some things like this. I don't know. Probably in India they still measure some things like this in some places, but most of the places we have in metric system, we already have come to metric systems. So there's a question. One gunja is 1/3 vallaha. No, it is not what it is. So basically, it says gunja tritayam tu vallaha. So gunja tritayam tu vallaha. Gunja tritayam vallaha. So I think you're right. So no, correct. I think did I make a mistake? Okay. So I think 1/3 of a valla is one gunja. I should have this. So I think here also there is a mistake. So I will correct this. Correct. Thank you for pointing out. So weight measures, which one is set as standard? I don't know what your question is, but standard. Okay, so depending on where you are, which one, for example, depending on what you're measuring, it's small quantity, it's you will use smaller quantity measures. For higher quantities, you will get higher quantity measures. But I didn't get your question. We'll discuss this at the end of the class again. What is the standard? अतः मुद्राणां परिभाषा. निष्कस्य षोडशांशः स्याद् ब्रह्मो अस्यांशस्तथा पणः पणस्याङ्घ्रिः काकणि तद् विंशत्यंशो पराटकः. निष्कस्य षोडशांशः स्यात् ब्रह्मः अस्य अंशः तथा पणः पणस्य अङ्घ्रिः काकणि तद् विंशत्यंशः वराटकः इति. तर्हि तदपि एवमेव अस्ति. तत्र काकणी इति दीर्घं कृतम् अहं किम् इति एकवारं दृष्ट्वा अत्र काकणी वा इति परिशील्य अत्र परिष्करिष्यामि. So 1/16 षोडशांशनिष्कः एकः ब्रह्मः, षोडशांशः ब्रह्मः एकः पणः, चतुरंशः पणः एका काकिनी, विंशत्यंशः काकिनी एकः वराटकः इति. So 20 वराटकः एका काकिनी. So चतस्रः काकिनी एकः पणः, षोडश पणाः एकः ब्रह्मः, एकद्रह्मः एकः अत्रापि दोषः अस्ति. अस्तु. षोडशब्रह्मः एकः निष्कः इति भवितव्यम्. So again, this is mudranam coins or whatever you want to nanakam. So these are like even very few years back we had anas and all these things, but now I think it's out of use. But those are the things which are being used, which are being used in the previous probably 200 years back. Okay, so both Kakani and Kakini is there, is it? Okay, thank you. I will double check and I will make the slides consistent. अस्तु, दिग्योनयः अन्तिमः श्लोकः अस्ति एषः. प्रागादियोनय इह ध्वजधूमसिंहा विष्टिवृषः कर इभौ बलिभुक् क्रमेण त्रिघ्नाष्टभक्त परिशिष्टगृहादिनाः हस्ताङ्गुलान्यतरजास्वयुजोऽत्र शस्ताः. अत्र प्रागादियोनयः इह ध्वज धूमसिंहाः विष्टिः वृषः करः इभौ बलिभुक् क्रमेण त्रिघ्नाष्टभक्त परिशिष्टगृहादिनाः हस्ताङ्गुलन्यातरजाः तु अयुजः अत्र शस्ताः. कः अर्थः इति चेत् एषः एव अर्थः. अष्टदिग्योनयः सन्ति. सो डिफरेंट डायरेक्शंस, ईच वन हैज अ नेम फॉर इट. दिग्योनयः, योनिः नाम किम् इति अनन्तरं वदामि. सो अतः पूर्वादि अत्र प्रागादियोनयः. सो स्टार्ट विथ द ईस्ट. सो ध्वजः, धूमः, सिंहः, विष्टिः, वृषः, करः, इबः, बलिभुक् इति अष्टयोनयः सन्ति. तर्हि तस्य अस्य कः किं प्रयोजनम् अस्य इति चेत् तत्र मनुष्यालयचन्द्रिका इति कश्चन शिल्पग्रन्थः अस्ति. तस्य मनुष्यगृहनिर्माणसम्बन्धान् विधीन् बोधयति. अत्र सो इट् इस् टाकिङ्ग् अबौट् द मैथमेटिक्स्. तस्मिन् गणितविषयाः सन्ति. सो इट्स् टाकिङ्ग् अबौट् द मैथमेटिक्स् आफ् कन्स्ट्रक्षन् आफ् हौसस् फार् वेर् पीपल् लिव्. सो तस्य नाम मनुष्यालयचन्द्रिका इति. तत्र एतद् उक्तमस्ति. बट् ऐ डोण्ट् नो इन् द प्रीवियस् मैथमेटिकल् टेक्स्ट् इन् लैलावती इत्यादि दिस् पर्टिक्युलर् पार्ट् इस् नाट् गिवन्. But Shankara Verma puts this particular part in his Paribhasha Prakaranam, and he's not going to use it also. I don't know what inspired him or what made him put this particular thing in this text, Sadratnamala. अत्र परिधिः नाम पेरिमीटर् इति उच्यते. अत्र किमपि स्वीकरोतु. अस्तु, क ख ग ग इति अस्ति चेत् परिधिः नाम तस्य योगः. सो इट्स् औटर् बौण्ड्री. तत् परिधिः यदि त्रिघ्नः भवति, अत्र त्रिघ्नः अष्टभक्तः. अतः त्रिघ्नः अष्टभक्त चेत् तत्र शेषाङ्कः, अत्र परिशिष्टः अङ्कः, शेषाङ्कः योनिः इति उच्यते. सो if you take the perimeter, multiply by 3 and divided by 8, you get any number between 0 and 7. That thing is, you start with this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. So if you have Vishamanka yoneyaha prashastaha bhavanti, Samankaha yoneyaha aprashastaha bhavanti. So he's saying if the remainder is even odd number, so it is auspicious. If the remainder is even number, it is not auspicious. So this is some kind of like a Vastu Shastra avat bhavati. So these are all given there in the text. So he just has brought this also up in the Paribhasha Prakaranam. So this is what is mentioned in this shloka. So perimeter of what? Okay, I already told it is about the griham. So let's say you have your house, and the house is looking like the house is rectangular. So you take the perimeter of the house. The outer boundary or inner boundary, all these questions are there. All this sukshma vishayaha is mentioned in this book. So now let us assume it's outer boundary. So you take let's say the house looks like rectangular. The perimeter of the house is what you have to take. Ataha evam परिभाषा प्रकरणं समाप्तं. वयम् एकवारं तत्र किञ्चित् पठित्वा पुनः कुर्मः एकक्षणं. So I'll stop share. So we read this. ग्रहाः नक्षत्राणि च ग्रहाः सूर्येन्दु भौमज्ञ गुर्वच्छार्क्य हि केतवः मेषादयो राशयः सूर्यश्विनाद्याश्च तारकाः. पंचांग परिभाषा वासराः सूर्यवाराद्यास्थितयः प्रतिपन्मुखाः करणं कृमिसिंहाद्यं योगा विष्कम्भपूर्वकाः. त्रिंशच्चतुश्चतुः कल्पा मान्दिनाड्योक्तवासरात् पंचमोदिता रात्रावेताः सूक्ष्मा निरक्षभे. अहनि प्रान्न पूर्वान्न मध्याह्ना अपराह्नकः सायान्यस्थेति कालाः स्युर्व्यक्षे षड्घटिकामिताः. दैर्घ्यमानं योजनाष्टसहस्रांशो दण्डस्तच्चरणः करः तज्जिनांशोऽङ्गुलं तस्य षष्ट्यंशो व्यङ्गुलं स्मृतं. धान्यादिमानं क्रमात् अत्र क्र इति भवतव्यम्, अत्र टैपो अस्ति. क्रमात् चतुर्गुणं मानं कुडुबः प्रस्थ आडकः द्रोणो वः कारिकेति घनहस्तमितावधिः. गुरुत्वमानं तुलाशतांशः फलमेतदङ्घ्रिः कर्षोऽस्य माशो अवनिपालभागः कुञ्जास्य पञ्चांशक एतदर्धं यवो हि कुञ्जात्तृतीयं तु वल्लः. मुद्राणां परिभाषा निष्कस्य षोडशांशः स्यात् द्रह्मोऽस्यांशस्तथा पणः. पणस्याङ्घ्रिः काकणी तद्विंशत्यंशो वराटकः. अत्र काकणी इति दीर्घ इकारः. अस्तु. दिग्योनयः प्रागादियोनय इह ध्वजधूम सिंहा विष्टिर्वृषः खर इभौ बलिभुक् क्रमेण त्रिग्नाष्टभक्तपरिशिष्टग्रहादिनाः हस्ताङ्गुलान्यतरजास्त्वयुजोत्र शस्ताः इति शङ्करवर्मनिर्मितायां सद्रत्नमालायां द्वितीयं परिभाषा प्रकरणम् इति. निरक्षभे means in the equator. निरक्षभः इति the place where there is zero latitude इति अर्थः. अस्तु, इदानीं काश्चन सूचनाः. So next class I am going to so we have finished the prathama prakaranam dvitiyam prakaranam api in Sadratnamala. So the portions I wanted to complete is done. So next week we will have one more class. I told that if I have time, I will discuss some comparisons with of the Sadratnamala Prakaranam with Bharati Tirtha Swamiji's Vaidika Ganitam. So Vaidika Ganitam is not part of the, so as I said, Sadratnamala is the last of all the Indian mathematics tradition. After that came this book, Vedic mathematics. It's become a very big sensation in the world of mathematics. They say that Indian mathematics, it is the contribution of Indian mathematicians, nothing like that. The contribution of Indian mathematicians, whatever I've told, this Parikarmashtakam, all these things, it ends with Sadratnamala. The book by Vedic mathematics is actually more from the modern Western mathematics point of view, but still it is written by an Indian, so we can call it Indian mathematics. But he has some good techniques. We will see some of those comparisons of those techniques of Vargamulam in the next class. So next class will be the last class. So if so, there will be also some small valedictory part of the class. If you want to provide any feedback, so you have to talk. You have to open your microphone and open your video and talk. So if you have any feedback, please let us know. Let me know, or if you can also talk extempore on the day. You don't have to let me know also. But if you want to give feedback, be prepared to open your microphone and talk. So that is the announcement I wanted to make. So next week I will also provide one homework. So next week I'll also provide one homework. That will be the last homework, the fourth homework. So it will be due by the end of this month, end of June. After that, I will calculate the marks you got, and I will forward it to the Vyoma team so that they can provide certificates for those who are eligible based on the marks I give them. So there will be one more homework. And that will be due at the end of this month. 16 Brahmas is equal to 1 Nishka. Okay. So now I want to open up for, there are some questions. I want to take them here. So that is, you can raise your hands and I will unmute you. There was one person who also raised their hands. It was a question. Assume these days are set to Indian time. I said I didn't understand that question. If you want to clarify, you can clarify. Sorry for the typos. I will fix the typos and I will upload. So there won't be many questions from these. There may be one question or from all this second part of the course. But the main part of the course was the Parikarmashtakam. So the 8 operations was what is the main part of the course. So most of the homework problems were from there, and I'm giving those homework problems because I explained some methodologies in class, and I want to make sure that you understand. So basically, you go back and check what is the methodology and use that methodologies to solve the problems in the homework, and also understand some words in the questions. So basically, the objective of the course was for you to understand mathematical text written in Sanskrit directly. I can keep on doing translation and you will never come out of the translation mode. So I want at least a few of you to pick up mathematical text and start reading. Astu. Arun Kumar Thangavel. Please unmute. Sir. You can unmute and talk, sir. Arun Kumarji. Okay. I think you are not. अन्य कोऽपि प्रश्नः? I am not able to hear Arun Kumar ji. Jairamji.
Yeah, the one question I had was, you may not be able to answer it, regarding the weight measures. What I meant when I said standard was, is there look at those little things on the picture on the right. So what are they?
Right.
Are there standard weight that is used, which then transfers?
Okay, so this picture I just put it to to make the slide that is a weight measure. That's all. These are some standard weights which are used now in the stores in India. Probably I don't know if they are still used also. But these are just, I wanted to give this to just indicate there is this Gurutva Manam. So weight measures. These are weight measures. That's all.
Yeah, I know. What I meant was, like in the metric system, they have a particular metal or something that they keep in that particular place in France. So similarly, did they have a specific standard weight based on which they did the rest?
They probably had. I don't know what exactly it was. What metal it was. Maybe it was cast iron or something. I don't know. Okay. Probably they did surely had all these things. So they had weights corresponding to all of these. Probably. I don't know. So I have to do some research on that.
And regarding the next one, the coins and all that, I've seen terms like rupayani or something like that. Is that it's a standard Sanskrit term? Do you know? Toward 1 rupee.
Rupekani, all these things is for rupee. So right now, after rupee came, probably Rupekani is there.
Oh, it came only after.
These are all. Okay. After the rupee was standardized.
Okay, thanks.
So if Arun Kumarji cannot unmute, so you want to try again? Yeah, you can unmute now. Please talk.
In modern days, to calculate Jataka, we use hours. So the child is born at 5 a.m. on so and so date. In olden days, how they calculated the birth of the child to calculate Jataka?
So they probably had measures of time, right? So basically,
no. In this particular Sadratnamala, has he given any kind of time measurement to calculate Jataka?
Okay, I don't know. So this is okay. By the way, the Jatakam is all Palita Jyotism. This is not a Palita Jyotism text. So they will not. The measurements of time was there. So basically, we can see here, right? Kaladi Paribhasha. So measurements of time was there. So Kalamananam iti sarvam. I'll show you this one. So Gurvaksharam, Vigatika, all these things are Kalamananam. All were there only. But they had measure of time. But at any epoch of time, there is there is some time using these measurements. There were times. So, but how Jatakam? So by the way, do not please confuse this Jyotisham with Palita Jyotisham. Palita Jyotisham is a different stream altogether, and they are not going to talk about Jatakam and all these things in this book. He is just going to talk about every celestial bodies. What is this time? What is the perimeter of Earth? When is the Grahanam? So all these things he will just
only regarding the position of planets.
Yes, every Jyotisham text is only Leelavati. All the mathematicians, starting from Aryabhata and all these things, were never they went into Palita Jyotisham. They never wrote anything about Palita Jyotisham. They have never told about how a man's life will be at all. So Palita Jyotisham was a different field altogether.
How that originated?
I don't know. I'm not very familiar with that, so I don't know.
I want to know whether that is true or it's a kind of myth. Okay,
so now you are questioning, like you are bringing up a controversial question. A lot of astrologers I know who are right now doing astrology, like these kind of things, they do not accept Palita Jyotisham as a science at all. So they completely disregard this. Jyotisham, even Dharma Shastra with, so even Dharma Shastra with. So basically people who are, I hear a lot of noise in the background.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of Dharma Shastra with those people who follow Dharma Shastras also, I know a lot of people who reject Palita Jyotisham. Like whatever these Jyotishas who are having stalls and shops take your jatakam and say, okay, you will next year you will get a lottery and all these things. Lot of things. I know a lot of Dharma Shastra with people who are strong Dharma Shastra followers. They reject all those things. So, but this is my personal opinion. I do not want to make any statement because I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about astronomy also, astronomy also. Basically, Sadratnamala Anantaram, the next few chapters are purely based on astronomy, which also I am not an expert on. So basically, I want to teach the first chapter.
These kind of astronomical measurements are given for yajna only, right? How, when to perform yoga, homa, what kind of puja should be performed?
Kala, exactly. So basically, Kala Nirnayaha Katham. In the first chapter lecture also I mentioned this. When Nitya Karma Nirnayaha, Karmanaha Kala Nirnayaha eva Jyotishasya Prayojana. So the only reason why we have Jyotish Shastra is to find out when we have to do all this karma. That is the only thing which is given in Jyotish Shastra. All other thing is how you will live and whether you will get a 1 lakh of lottery and all these things is not even mentioned in any of this in these books. So to do all these things you need mathematics. So that mathematics is quite significant, and it's quite people in Indian mathematicians knew enough mathematics. It's quite sophisticated. Was the point?
Okay, thank you.
So, but there could be people who might say that okay, Parititotcham is really scientific, and they could put forward their claims. You can go and listen to that. I am not going to. I'm not categorically saying that those are all wrong. From my point of view, I am not an expert, so I cannot comment on that. That's all.
Can I ask one question? You mentioned that there's some various mathematics books, etc. Would you be giving us a list of those books that we can look at for future reference?
Sorry, what did I say?
No.
I just said in this Tritiyam Panchanga Prakarana. So going forward, Sadratnamala, Shankaravarma, what he does is he just goes into only astronomical discussion. Most of the books which I earlier mentioned, the first lecture, deal with these things. All the Kerala mathematicians are talking only about these things. So this, if you see this, Tritiyam Panchanga Prakaranam, Chaturtham Jya Chapadi Prakaranam. So he talks about this Jya Chapadi, means it's the sines and cosines of basically not the linear signs, arc signs, arc sign and all these things. He's going to talk about these things in this chapter. He's just documenting everything. So in this thing, and this Jya Chapadi Prakaranam is the biggest chapter according to.
No. What I'm referring to is right in the beginning of this course, you had mentioned that a huge number of Sanskrit books nobody has really done any research into them, etc. And you said that it'll be great if some of us can look at them. So, but do you know if there is a list of such books somewhere?
It should be available. I can dig up and give, but I don't know. I don't have it with me right now. But it's the thing is, my point was to get to even those kind of books. First, we need to understand what is there in these texts. So we should be able to pick up any of these texts and just able to understand. Okay, read it and understand what is given in those texts. So that is the first step to understand. Go and dig up other books, and so those will be not even in manuscript form or all these things. So to understand those things, we have to get ourselves familiarized with these kind of paribhasha, Sanskritam paribhasha. For example, Sankalanam, Vyavakalanam Namakim, Yogaha Namakim, Haraha Namakim. So all these things we should, if we are familiar with that, now we can even understand, okay, what the other those texts are talking about. But I don't have the list of all those texts offhand. So that's the short answer for the question.
Okay. So just as for grammar, Panini's grammar, others have written Bhashyam, etc. commentaries. Are there similar commentaries on some of these mathematics books that you know?
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're doing the homework, you will know that there are commentaries. I'm giving passages from the commentaries. So in many of the things I mentioned that this commentary and all this. So a lot of people have written commentaries on this. Lilavati itself has like around 40 commentaries. Out of that, like around 10 are around Sanskritam. In all languages, they have written commentaries. So Lilavati is one of the very highly commented mathematics texts.
I see. Thank you.
So was there a question from Gayatri? If not, you need not to unmute. I just gave you a chance to unmute.
Namaste, sir. We can find such commentaries on mathematical texts with vyoma-samskrta Samiti. They are available in both in English as well as in a regional language, and that is Telugu. You can find them. Vyoma-samskrta Samiti.
Okay, vyoma-samskrta Samiti.
Yes.
Dhanyawada.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions?
What was the name of the book that she mentioned?
Vyoma-samskrta Samiti. It's a site. Probably you should Google for it.
Sri Veda Bharati RVSS Avadhanalu. I have those books with me, and they are well commented by this RVSS Avadhanalu. He was an eminent scholar in Sanskrit, as well as he worked as a director of NIMS means Nizam Institute of Medical Sciences, and he was an MSc in nuclear physics, and turned to be a Vedic scholar. So he
Okay,
has many books with it. So Sri Remella Avadhanalu. Avadhanalu. And can I show that book?
If you could share the detail in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, madam.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any more
Thank you.
comments or questions? If there are no questions, we can end the class. Swasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim miheshaah go brahmanebhyah shumavastu nityam lokaः samastah sukhino bhavantu. Dhanyawadaः.